So now the third part of creating a sequence, and hopefully by now you're all feeling quite inspired and creative and longing to get started on your own sequence. But here we've got the options of moving into different positions from Madhuryasan, from the all fours position. And there are lots of options here, and I know many of you will have lots of ideas of your own, which you're very, very welcome to include. I just want to give you some ideas and to help you get along with this. We get started, we can find different ways of doing things, we can modify postures, we can make it all work really well for us. So take your time, and possibly a good idea is to actually write down some of the postures so that you remember your own sequence and how it goes. And then we obviously put it over to memory. So, namaste. I'm just going to show you again the simplest way of getting from one position creating a little journey, if you like, of different postures that allow me to come into the posture that I'm going to be working with. So from forward bend into Ashwasanchalanasana again. And onto all fours. Now, just looking at this, I could have my hands in a slightly different position, a little tiny bit closer to my knees would be good. Just be aware that you feel nice and stable on your hands and knees there. Coming to Madhuryasan cat stretch. Now, with cat stretch, because the spine likes to stretch, but at first it may feel a little bit stiff, it may feel a little bit awkward. So take your time until you reach the stretch that you want. You can do this as many times as you like. You can include as many rounds of Madhuryasan as you choose. Nice and slow, nice and steady. The spine goes on a nice journey of opening and releasing and stretching. So into neutral spine, and I'm going to slide the leg back, stretch. And then head and knee coming towards each other underneath the body. And again, nice stretch. Stretching back again. And now the knee comes out to the side and my head turns to the side. So this is more of a hip opening side stretch. From a different angle, you can see it here. The knee moves towards my head. Nice stretch back up. Always the option here to come into Shashankasana, the swan, to breathe into the back ribs, to stretch the shoulders, to release the hands, because the hands take a lot of weight, as do the arms. Putting weight into the upper body is really good for bone density, but sometimes we can overstretch, we can create problems, so we need to rest occasionally. So now lifting that leg, and I'm going to come into Vyagrasana tiger stretch here, stretching from foot to toes. Now arm coming back, and here's another option variation of Vyagrasana Tiger stretch is to lift that foot and stretch. There's an element of balance here again, so just go with what feels right for you. Back into Vyagrasana Tiger stretch and back onto all fours. And again, Shashankasana to release. Relax the wrists, the hands, the arms, breathing into the back ribs. Nice oxygenation. So back onto all fours. Toes tucking under. So we're going to come into Sumeru, the summit. I know many people will know this as dog stretch, but in the tradition of yoga that I was taught in, we always called this summit Sumeru. Now back into Shashankasana, swan. Toes tucking in again and back into Sumeru, the summit. Nice stretch. Now lifting that leg, stretching it up. I could straighten it a bit more if I chose to. And I'm bringing the weight forward into my arms and just bringing that knee under and back again. So I could do the same thing again, or I could go a little bit further. So I'm going to come into the pigeon stretch here, just placing that knee down on the floor. A nice hip opener and a really nice stretch for the psoas muscles. And I'm going to come forward and just release down. Again, nice hip opener, but also breathing into those back ribs and freeing up the shoulders there. So there's a lot going on in the body in this position. To come out of it, place the hands carefully to support you. Nice stretch again. Tucking the toes under and bringing that leg back. The Sumeru, the summit. And from here into plank. Strong core muscles and upper body strength, and then raised cobra, Bhujangasana. And back into summit. Releasing down again, Shashankasana. Then the arms coming round, a little bit of a blip there, but hopefully I'll just do that again for you. And bring the arms down. Okay, coming onto the knees into Vajrasana, raising the arms and lifting onto the knees. So I'm going to bring my hands back behind me to support my lumbar spine, and then I can come into Ustrasana, the camel, in its simplest version. It's a lovely backward stretch. You need to keep the hips forward slightly so you're not straining the knees. Second time round, you can stay with the first version, or you can take it a little bit further, which is to tuck the toes under and bring the hands down towards the feet. And if you hold that, just push the hips forward and open out a bit more in the chest. Coming up, try and come up with the arms together. A nice stretch up, and then releasing the feet. And back into Balasana, child pose. Again, be breathing into the back ribs here. You can come up whenever you choose to. You can stay a while if you want to. And from here, back into Ashvasanchalanasana. Back into forward bend. So finding that root once again to end the sequence. Nice smooth movements from one position to another. So again, some nice options for you, and I hope that you will enjoy piecing that together. Hari Om Tat Sat.